Hello, Search with Sean. Sophie Fell here. Super excited to present to you today a guide on how to use search ads for the full funnel. So, by way of really quick introduction, my name's Sophie. I've spent the last 9 years or so working in paid media. I absolutely love it. Now I spend a lot of my time writing, thinking, and speaking about paid media. So this presentation here has come off the back of my Brighton SEO talk that I did earlier this year. And what I did was kind of expanded it to go into a little bit more detail about best practices for mid-funnel and for lower funnel ads too. So I'm really excited to talk to you today. Hopefully you will like this. And yeah, let's get started. So we're starting with the traditional funnel model of awareness, consideration, and conversion. Now, typically, we tend to use in paid media and within marketing, Google Ads and PPC tactics to push conversions, right? It's a conversion-oriented process naturally. And as a result, we're very, very used to seeing a direct return from our Google Ads and our marketing efforts or our Microsoft ads. And as a result, I think now we've got into this difficult position where we're so used to seeing ROI and ROAS and that direct return from Google Ads, where people are then nervous and scared to use Google Ads effectively for kind of mid and upper funnel tactics and for those kinds of results. So what I would love to do in this presentation is hopefully, again, share some best practices, share some tips, and show how you can effectively use search ads for all kind of funnel objectives from top, driving awareness with search ads, driving consideration with search ads, and then, of course, driving conversion with search ads, which I'm sure we all know how to do very, very well. So let's take a look at traditionally why this hasn't worked. And why when we attempt it or have attempted it previously, it seemed like Google Ads doesn't work for those, again, upper funnel and mid-funnel objectives. So again, it is naturally a conversion-oriented process. The point of Google Ads is to get in front of the right customer at the right time when they're searching for what they're looking for and then turn them into a conversion. I think we get confused sometimes and we think a conversion has to be a sale or a lead form submission, but actually the word conversion, kind of just embodies any action that we want a client to take. So that could be a product page view, that could be a pricing or pricing comparison page view, that could be an add to cart, so I think it's really important that we keep that definition in our minds of what a conversion is. And sometimes it's better to say action oriented instead, just to kind of unblur those lines of what that means. There's no real discovery process with search ads, especially when you compare it to things like social media or TV, streaming ads, billboards, and things like that, where you can kind of generate that mass reach very quickly. We don't have that luxury with search. We have to wait, right? We have to wait for someone to type in the perfect keyword, and then we go through the auction process, which is sometimes very aggressive, to get in front of that particular person at the right time. So although it's helpful for awareness and driving discovery and viewability, it is difficult when compared to other upper funnel methods to generate that quick reach at scale. Again, we are so used to putting money into Google Ads, Bing Ads, Microsoft Ads, and getting that return that it's often and historically, and even today, honestly, been very difficult to justify a return for our clients or the brands we work for, again, with those top of funnel and mid-funnel ads. And that's what makes it very difficult to justify from a business perspective. And again, in the same vein, that lack of attribution, we don't have, again, the luxury of always seeing, the first engagement that someone's had with us, maybe the first ad interaction, the first touch point, and how that translates. And often we see that sources like organic or direct traffic will kind of mop that up for us from Google Ads and PPC. So we don't always necessarily get the credit, even though we may have been responsible for that initial interaction or even most of the touch points along the way. So in my kind of perpetual conquest to change the way we think about the funnel, I want to really have a look at what awareness actually is, because we talk about awareness a lot, and again, upper funnel, top of funnel objectives, but what is it actually? And I think in the last 10 years or so, the word awareness has kind of evolved, right? I think that we tend to think of awareness as a customer having, a deep understanding of us as a brand, what we stand for, the products and services that we sell. And I think as a result, things have got confused. But I would actually argue that awareness is basically, again, the knowledge that your brand or product or service exists. So in order to kind of cut down on that confusion, I've actually split the kind of traditional funnel into these 3 objectives, just to help us kind of keep on track with what we're actually trying to achieve at each stage. So for awareness, our focus should be on kind of viewability and visibility. So again, really, really important that our ads are at the top, our ads are being seen at the right place and at the right time. And it's not necessarily about driving traffic or even generating consideration at this point. Obviously, we hope that that's kind of where the trajectory will go, from viewability to engagement to conversion. But at this stage, our main goal should be generating that viewability and that visibility. So with that said, imagine a world where you could appear at the top of the SERP as soon as someone has an issue or a question that your product or service can solve. And I think, again, this is the really important part of awareness. You don't necessarily need to drive brand awareness at that upper stage of the funnel. I think what's really important is that, and we'll have a look at some user behavior in a minute, that we can effectively answer those questions. And again, getting in front of the right people at the right time. Exactly at the moment, they're using search to find an answer to their questions, and it's something that we're able to do. And they may not even be considering, what their potential options are, or considering buying a product, or considering investing in a service at that point. But this is the point, right? We want to get in front of them at that time and tell them, hey, we exist. So, some user behavior research really quickly. So this to me is really interesting to see how this has evolved over time, but some research by Neil Patel Digital done this year in 2024 has shown that in 2020, when people had questions online, 98% of the time they would go to search engines to find the answer. Again, 1% social media, and then 1% everywhere else. Now, we know that that's changed a lot, and again, so much has changed in the last 4 or 5 years in marketing, but we can see now that there's other is now 2%. We've got AI chatbots, which weren't even as much of a widely used thing back in 2020. 30% of people now turning to AI chatbots to find answers to their questions online, and 7% on social media. And that's really interesting because obviously we're seeing the trend of people tend to TikTok and use TikTok as a search engine as well. So really, really interesting information. While we can see people are perhaps shifting away from search engines, the majority of traffic, that 61%, is still there, right? So we know that there's a very healthy chunk of people who search for questions online using search engines. And again, this provides the perfect opportunity for us to get in front of them to drive awareness. We've also got some stats by Lunio. Lunio, if you're watching this, or anyone from Lunio, I apologize for the way I've presented this. But actually, this was a really, really interesting piece of research that showed that 92% of searches online aren't questions, but 8% are. So again, there's that real volume there, especially when you consider how many searches there are a day, how many people there are in the world. I think it would be, silly to ignore the fact that 8% of searches are questions. So again, I think a real opportunity there for marketers to utilize that. So this was an awesome example of this that I saw earlier this year. It was shared by Boris Beckerick on LinkedIn. And this is a really chef's kiss example of getting top of funnel search right. So the keyword there was dog eats grass and vomits. So unfortunately his dog was sick. His dog had an upset tummy. His dog is fine now, I've been assured. But what was really interesting and that he found interesting was that the sponsored ad, the first headline matched his keyword exactly. So it's saying, did your dog eat grass and is it now vomiting? And then the next headline is, this is how you can help the dog. So while he kind of turned to Google in this case for advice, wasn't necessarily in kind of that purchasing mode, perhaps didn't even know a product existed that could help with this. This is a really, really effective ad. And it goes on to talk about, this is how you can help the dog. Here's the products. It talks about probiotics. It talks about their brand. It talks about symptom checker as well. So what they've done in this ad is provide that potential solution to that question or that problem or that concern. But then they've also really demonstrated that kind of authority and expertise on the topic too. Now, whether Boris then went on to click this ad, it certainly took his attention, but whether he went on to click the ad, find out more, he quit his search at this point, maybe he found a Q&A on another website or an FAQ that had a quicker answer to his question. I think what's really important to think about is what was achieved by him seeing this ad and reading this ad. And it's awareness, and it's that visibility. And that's the main thing that we're trying to achieve here. It doesn't necessarily have to be about driving conversion straight away. Maybe by the time he searched this, his problem was over, But I think what's really important is that brand is now top of mind for next time, or another time it happens, or if his dog, touch wood, gets sick another way, he knows there's a symptom checker on this website, for example. So I really think this does a really positive example of using top of funnel search. And obviously as a pay-per-click activity, you don't pay if no one clicks your ad. So I think it's perfect. So how do we as marketers, again, find those accurate questions to answer? And how do we find the kind of relevant, keywords to use, right? That's the main thing we need in our campaigns is keywords. So how do we find those? So there's a couple of tools online that do a really good job of this. So AlsoAsked.com is great. It's also used for SEO. I think it might traditionally be an SEO tool, but very, very helpful for PPC too. So on the left, you can see AlsoAsked.com. So again, it's a case of popping in, you can use the name of your brand, you can use the name of your service or product, or you can use more of a general term, for example, like accounting services. And what that does is then builds you a gigantic list. This is a very small screenshot of what came back from it. With, again, all the questions that people are asking for search engines related to that topic. AnswerThePublic does a very, very similar thing. I think using both tools in tandem, if you can, is a really good idea. And again, put in your kind of industry, your brand, your product, your service, and you'll get this beautiful wheel of questions. And this one's separated into like what, why, are, how, can sort of questions. It's a really great wheel of information. And while all of them might not be relevant, I'm sure in each of those cases there will be a few that you can use. You can also use keyword planning tools, so Google Keyword Planner, Microsoft Keyword Planner. And something that I like to do is I use Chrome, so I go in incognito on Chrome so that my search history doesn't affect what I'm looking for. And what you can do, so again, if we're saying accounting software, accounting services, you can write that and then follow that query with, what, how, why, and then the autocorrect that comes down will then give you some ideas of what people are searching for too. So lots of really, really great and in some case free tools that you can use to find the right questions that users were asking about, again, your product, your brand, and your service. In my opinion, competitor ads work really well. Using your ads to target your competitor brand terms works really, really well. So we can see here in the one on the top right, it's a search for Zero, but then this other brand is saying, have you outgrown Zero? Move up a step, grow faster. And again, really, really great opportunity there. And I think, again, over time, we get stuck in thinking there's this single funnel journey. And maybe if you're in a trial for, project management software like Monday.com, people will think you're in the conversion stage for project management software as a whole. But actually, if you then searched Monday.com, for example, and then saw an ad for a different brand, you're still then generating awareness for this brand. So I think it's really important to think, especially now, those user journeys aren't as linear or straightforward online as they once were. And actually multiple funnel journeys for the same thing, the same product, the same service can be occurring at the same time. So just because you're in the conversion stage with Monday.com, that doesn't mean you're not still in the awareness and consideration stage for other brands too. And I think, again, competitor ads are a really great way to drive that visibility and lower down the funnel too, right? If you know someone is considering or at the conversion stage with another project management tool, that's the perfect time to get your ads in front of them and have them consider yours instead. So in terms of some more hands-on tips, so we're talking a lot, instead of keywords or single words, we're talking a lot here about answering questions. So how can we effectively and properly and usefully answer these questions using PPC? So as we saw in the example earlier, you want to offer that direct answer or that direct solution in the headlines. It's the first bit of the ad, the biggest bit of the ad, and the bit that really grabs the eye as a user scrolling, particularly if multiple ads are appearing, or even we're seeing recently ads being mixed in within the kind of the middle of the SERP. So you may have a few organic slots, then an ad, then some more organic slots. So really important that this stands out. Consider using dynamic keyword insertion, again, matching the user's search query. And again, in that example we had earlier, that was a really, really solid example of matching the user's query and intent exactly. And while I'm not usually a fan of pinning, I think in this situation it makes sense to pin your headlines to create that kind of coherent response. So if you're using kind of granular ad groups and you've got maybe 2 or 3 similar questions in the same ad group, you don't want to accidentally give an answer or a response for something completely different, because it just won't match what the user's looking for. So I would say really important to pin those headlines, use those granular ad groups, those granular themes. They don't have to be skags, but granular ad groups where the questions are very, very similar and have very similar answers, and make sure that you're pinning again to make sure that the key headlines and the key answers to the questions that people have are right there. In terms of the ad itself and the ad extensions available, again, we're creating visibility, but we also do want to generate consideration and that memory, right? And the brand salience. So use your business name extensions, use your business logos to start creating that brand recognition. Add relevant images at the ad group level. Again, we'll be answering lots of maybe semi-different questions. So how do we create accurate content and relevant content for each ad group? Where you can, use reviews in your content, or if you're using Microsoft Ads, use review extensions. Add price and promo assets. So again, this is a really great way to kind of pre-qualify your audience as well, even at this stage. So price and promo assets are a really, really good one. And again, your kind of site links, call outs, structured snippets, they'll add extra content. So again, taking up the real estate in the SERP, but also extra context. So again, like we just saw in the example, we could see a symptom checker, we could see probiotics for dogs and things like that. And obviously, if someone is using the search term that Boris was using, that is the perfect target audience, right? Someone with a dog, at least one dog. So really, really important to add that additional content and context too. And yeah, as I mentioned, use those granular ad groups. Keep them very tight-knit, keep them very closely themed. I'm not saying you have to do this for search ads at every stage of the funnel, but for these upper funnel awareness, visibility driving ones, I would definitely suggest it. And again, use target impression share bidding. Make sure we're matching the bidding strategy to the goal we want to achieve. And if you put all that together, you will have something like this. So this is an ad mock-up. It features pictures of my dog, because who doesn't love pictures of dogs? So first headline, do you have this problem? Obviously, you don't need to write that specifically, but it's a kind of a prompt to suggest what to have there. Here's the perfect solution. Into the description lines, have you considered this? this product or service can offer a quick and easy solution. Again, we know when people searching online, they're generally, particularly in B2C and D2C, we know that people are looking for that quick resolution, quick answers. So offering a quick and easy solution. Again, then trying to demonstrate that trust and authority. So with 99 years of experience, we can help. And then again, try us free for 30 days. So lots of really great kind of USPs, features, benefits within just those 3 lines of text. And here we've got the business logo too. We've also got some site link extensions, some call outs, etc. So we're talking about reviews, we're talking about a 12-month guarantee, we're talking about the award-winning solutions, and then there's about us too. So people really have those options to find out more about you. They don't have to navigate directly to the product page. But yeah, again, that awareness, that visibility, that brand recognition all gets achieved with an ad like this. So next we'll move on to consideration. So we've done awareness, we've driven that visibility, that viewability, brand recognition, and now we're at the next stage of the funnel. So as we mentioned earlier, next is engagement. So now we're ready, right? We're ready to start driving that traffic and getting in front of those key users. So driving relevant, important, and quality, very important, traffic to your website when users are considering or kind of weighing up their options. And this is the goal of search ads in the middle of funnel. So we might see things like product name, product type searches. People might be looking for branded comparisons. So again, I keep going back to the project management tool realm. So Monday.com, for example, how does that compare to Trello or Jira or Asana? This is something that traditionally works very well in SEO, but it does work beautifully in PPC too. Again, when people are considering their options, they're generally not considering 1 or 2 brands. It could be 5, 6, 7 brands. So this is a really great one, what's cheaper out of these 2, what's quicker out of these 2, which has easier onboarding, etc., etc. And again, at this stage, someone knows they want the product, they're maybe not sure where to get it from or who to buy from. So we're then looking at things like best, top rated. We might then see reviews, Monday.com reviews, for example, cheapest, in some cases, people just want the cheap option. So this is a really great way to think about what your middle of funnel keywords should be and how you can address them. So how do we effectively address these terms using PPC? Well, at this point, we know a little more about the audience. They've already seen at least one of our ads. There's probably been a few touch points realistically by the time they get to this point. Or maybe you're lucky enough that one of your competitors has an enormous search budget or enormous video budget and is doing a massive campaign about how great accounting software is, and you can kind of hijack that too. So by now we know a lot more about our buyer persona, so we can address their pain points directly in the ads. Again, what are we trying to achieve? Well, we're trying to achieve traffic at this point. We're trying to encourage interaction. We're trying to encourage clicks. Focus on your USPs, your features, your benefits. So in the headline text, again, match those keywords that you know people are looking for. Best, top rated, reviews, etc. And again, encourage clicks and action with CTAs. And this is the really important bit. I think sometimes particularly awareness and conversion and consideration ads, we sometimes miss the CTAs, or sometimes we're a bit vague. Or sometimes we'll even use, 3 different CTAs and, without that kind of thinking about the customer journey and the single action that we want them to take. So it could be, you might have an ad that's like, learn more here and sign up to our newsletter, and a call extension that says, give us a call. And this makes the user journey very confusing for the user. They don't know what to do next. You're not clearly directing them to that action that you want them to take. So really, really important that we keep on top of our CTAs. And similarly to those awareness ad extensions or ad assets, so yeah, using price and promo extensions, using reviews and content or review extensions. And again, at this point, we want to be really clear on our content that we use in our ad assets too. So case studies, comparison pages, calculator tools, those are really effective. White papers sharing results, so like come and check out how we saved X amount of time or X amount of money for this client. So here is our ad. So we're addressing that key term, top rated, right? So top rated LMS software. Very key USP, very key pain point here. Save 33% on training costs. Are you ready to save up to 50% annually on staff training time and 33% on training costs? Well, very few people would say no to that, I'm sure. Take our free ROI calculator to find out how quickly you could save. So again, you're not necessarily saying like, come to the website and click everywhere and find out more about us or learn more, for example, which is very vague. You're giving them a direct action, right? Like use our calculator, find out how quickly you can save. And obviously this can then, for your brand, generate leads at this point too, right? Or customer data that you can then remarket, retarget, send emails to and things like that. Again, we've got a review extension here. And then we're talking about the reviews that we've got, how much money you could save, why we're top rated. And I think this one's really important. So when someone uses the terms best, top rated, high rating, award winning, I think it's really important personally to provide the backup. So top rated by LMS.com, perfect, right? And train staff faster. So again, addressing pain points, addressing features, addressing benefits, all in this kind of 3 or 4 sentence ad here. And finally, conversion ads. So this bit's going to be the shortest bit because I feel like we all know how to do conversion ads really well, but I'm going to share some top tips anyway. Hopefully they'll be relevant. So we've done viewability, we've done engagement, and now we're driving conversion. We just need to remember what I said at the beginning. Conversion isn't necessarily always a lead generation or a sale. Conversion can mean a lot of different actions, but they have to be the ones that are important to your business. So drive conversions from qualified potential leads, and again, qualified is the important bit there. So brand names, product names, and then again, those really key intent to buy keywords. So buy, discount, promo code, coupon, upgrade, things like that. Again, very high intent search terms here that is really important we get in front of. So how do we effectively address these search terms using search? Well, again, it sounds straightforward, but we miss the mark. This is marketers very often. So encourage conversion with clear CTAs, again, remembering the action you want them to take. Make the landing page clear in display paths. Match headline text with search queries. So again, if someone's typed in promo code, don't ignore that. If someone's typed in discount code, don't ignore that. Don't just gloss past it. The way to drive traffic and conversions is to, again, match exactly or very, very closely to what they're looking for. And then demonstrate urgency. You want to really encourage conversion now. So, act quickly, shop now, call today, hurry, sale ends soon. And dynamic features like countdown ads, for example, are a really great way of doing this too. So you have this kind of live active countdown or, hurry, sale ends in 2 days, 1 day, 30 minutes, for example. Again, these are all really, really key ways of generating conversions. And then again, with your ad assets, what do we want to do? So we want to remind people of the USPs again, right? Why are they choosing you? Why should they choose you? Highlight how straightforward the process is. So where possible, get a quote in 5 minutes, free onboarding support, free shipping, call us 24/7. So this is kind of, you're throwing everything at it at this point to drive this conversion. How can we encourage a user to take action now and also show them that we're the best? Our product, our brand, our service is the one that they should pick. And here's your mock ad. So upgrade your staff training, hurry, 50% sale off ends today. And then kind of addressing the pain points again. Are you ready to take back control of your staff training? We have a free onboarding program. That's a huge blocker for people when looking at LMSs. And 24/7 support, again, really, really important. Call our experts now. So again, that CTA, what are we asking them to do? We want them to call. Call our experts now to lock in a 50% saving on team upskilling costs in 2025. So the CTA is really clear, right? We've addressed their pain points, we've addressed why they should choose us. We have our site link extensions here and our call out, so the fastest LMS ever. We have reviews, quick onboarding process. Again, that can be something that is a huge blocker, and call us. So we're seeing that in the description, we're saying call our experts now, and we have the call extension too. So hopefully this is a really clear way, again, to drive that action that we want users to take. So in summary, I know we've done 31 minutes of this already. So what do we want to focus on? We want to focus on viewability, we want to focus on engagement, and we want to focus on conversion. Where possible, and it's often possible, we want to match the ad copy to the action you want the user to take. And again, I know it sounds straightforward, but we miss the mark on this as marketers very often. And then define keywords, ad copy, assets, CTAs, even user intent for each stage of the funnel. So at the engagement stage of the funnel, what are they looking for? At the viewability stage of the funnel, what are they looking for? What questions do they want answered? At the conversion stage of the funnel, what questions do they want answered? What are they looking for? And it should be 3 very separate things. Perfect, so that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful. Any questions, please do let me know, and thank you.